Alright, so there's this super cool skill toy called a Begleri, which looks something like this. Obviously, that's in the hands of a professional Beglerier. And basically, there's like a toy company that mass produces a toyish version called the Thumbchucks, which are these. Now, I figured this is probably something that I can actually build myself, so I'm going to give that a go today, and I'm going to show you how. All you're going to need basically is some rubber bouncy balls, some string, and some hot glue, and if you don't have those, there's a couple substitutes that I'll go through once we head over to the desk. Alright, so we're back at the desk. We've got our hot glue and hot glue catching platform. We've got a couple of rubber balls that we're going to be using, and a couple of strings because I think I'm going to make 2 of these, some extra hot glue, and then I've got this like bent paper clip because I think I'm going to need something to help shove the strings down into the rubber balls. So you can see I've got 2 different kinds of bouncy balls here. Now if you don't have bouncy balls at all, you could use like big wooden beads or maybe some metal nuts or anything basically that's big and heavy and you can get a string into somehow. So you can see I just drilled holes into these balls, but if you don't have a drill or don't want to use a drill, you could probably wedge it in just like stabbing it with scissors or something, but don't do something unsafe. Drill is probably the easiest, safest way, so best bet is to just drill those holes in. So once the hot glue heats up, basically I'm just going to be taking these strings and putting some hot glue in there. I'm going to double loop them just so it has a little bit more to grab onto, and then we're going to put them in on each end and see how it goes. Now for the length of the string, I kind of looked around and I think best is like if you wrap this around your hand, it should go around like comfortably about once is the length I'm going to go for, because this way once it's kind of looped and inside of the balls, it'll be a little short, and that seems to be ideal for tricks and stuff. So the hot glue seems to be getting pretty warm, so I'm just going to measure this out first kind of. I'm going to put the string inside just to see how much of it I should loop, see, because you don't want that extra bit sticking out. I'm going to pull a little bit less, and then I think about there is where I'm going to hold it. So we've got that little loop, and now I'm just going to basically just load this up with hot glue, put the string in, hold it in place, and see what happens. So let's get hot glue going in there. Put 2 good squeezes in there, and our string as far in as it can go while I scorch my fingers with hot glue. That feels good. Okay, and then we're just gonna hold that in place. Maybe this is where the paper clip could come in handy to help shove that down, but I don't want it to get glued in there, obviously. The thing I like about hot glue is that if this gets all messy after, I'll just be able to kind of melt off that extra and it won't look too bad. So that's pretty good. We're gonna let that dry like that. Now that it's mostly start to set, I'm gonna put a little more hot glue around the edges and try to really pack it in there so that it's as secure as possible and it's not gonna come out when I start swinging this thing around. So we'll just add a little more extra and kind of melt what's already on there on the edges so that it's kind of sealing that string in. And I'm just kind of holding it like this to make sure it dries nice and in the middle so it's not, you know, off to one side. Ah, ow. Alright, so it's not totally hardened, but I'm just checking that the string length is pretty good. So when I double this up, the other ball should sit between my other 2 fingers here, and it looks like it'll be the right size. So that's good, and I'm going to get on to doing the other ball now. So basically the same process. I'm going to create this little loop so that when this goes in here, the hot glue's kind of got the loop of string to grab onto. And holding it in place to start to dry. So just like I did before, I'm going to check for sizing before everything totally dries. And that seems about good, so I'm going to make sure this sets in there properly and we should be good. I'm going to add kind of that extra layer, second round of hot glue I did again, like I did with the first one. And we'll wait for this to totally dry up. Alright, so judging by the first side, which is pretty much totally hardened right now, this is like a very, very strong connection, and I don't think that's going to come off. So that's a good sign for the durability of these things. Now with that first one drying off, I'm just going to repeat the process with this second set of bouncy balls and second piece of string, and then we should have 2. One other thing to mention might be this string. I just pulled this off some old keychain or something, but you could use a shoelace or really any string that you can find. You could use a flat string, which is what the thumb chucks actually use. It's more of like a flat piece of string, maybe off of like a lanyard or something. You could find something like that, but I'm just using, maybe this is like a thin version of a shoelace that I got off some keychain, but any string should work. And I'm gonna put the second one together now. Alright, and just like that, everything's dried up. You can see they are quite strong. So I think it's about time I just test them out and give you my final thoughts. Alright, so yeah, obviously I'm no professional, but I did this cool little clacky thing with them, and then I swung them around a whole bunch to make sure they were super durable and didn't come apart under intense circumstances. Now, maybe in the future video I'll try to learn some tricks with these things, some of those cool professional tricks, and yeah, that could be a new video. Beginner uses homemade bouncy ball on a string to do some Begleri tricks, maybe that's coming up. But yeah, other than that, give this a shot. It's pretty fun, it's pretty cool, and we'll see you in the next one.